Hey, how's it going, and welcome to another video. So before we get into it, this video is sponsored by the folks at Sega. They were kind enough to send me a copy of the game to review, so big shout out to them for the hookup. So I think when it comes to Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, I'm actually in a pretty unique position, because I have never played a Super Monkey Ball game. Obviously, it's a series that I'm aware of, I kind of knew what it was about, but just never got around to playing any of them. The extent of my knowledge when it comes to Super Monkey Ball is really, the Nick Robinson video where he tracks down the original announcer. So yeah, I went into this with no nostalgia bias whatsoever. I wasn't expecting it to make me feel like a child again or anything like that. I don't know anything about monkeys or balls. So yeah, this is pretty much just my fresh experience, never having played another one of these games. But as a quick rundown, the Super Monkey Ball games are platformers where you control a monkey in a ball, and you do this by actually twisting around the stage, which controls where the ball goes, how fast it goes. And Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania is, I guess it's more accurate to call it a remake than a remaster, really, but it's essentially one big remake of Super Monkey Ball 2, and Super Monkey Ball Deluxe. And I think the kind of, idea I had in my head of what Monkey Ball was like is completely different from what it actually is. You know, you control a monkey in a ball, what else is there to it? But this game is surprisingly really technical and, highly skill-based. Obviously, the first couple levels are pretty easy. They're kind of just there to, help you get a grasp on the controls and the physics, but the more you get into it, the more Monkey Ball becomes just this, really challenging technical, test of your understanding of the speed that you can go at and your own movement and just, the physics of the game. Your own understanding of, the maps and your ability to balance and, to some extent, puzzle solving. I would almost describe this game as being, sort of this genre does not exist, but a physics puzzle simulator. It's quite interesting. And at first I thought I was, insane. Okay, wait a minute, I guess I'm just really, really bad at Monkey Ball, but once I kind of looked into it a little bit more, I realized, oh, wait a minute. That's actually the whole appeal of the game. But yeah, once that message was really grilled into my head, the experience changed a lot. And I would say I overall had fun with it, but that's accompanied by a little asterisk. One problem I did run into is sometimes I have trouble with motion sickness. If stuff happens to move way too fast or camera angles change really quickly, I can get a little bit dizzy feeling, and this is something that I ran into every now and again. This is mostly a problem I ran into with stages that had anything to do with verticality. You know, stages where you're jumping up on something or you're trying to climb something or you're going downhill really fast. With stages like that, I would get a little bit of an oh god kind of feeling. So yeah, if you're like me and you have occasional motion sickness problems, keep in mind that while playing this, you might run into some difficulties with that, but again, this really just depends on the person. But I think this overall style of gameplay, it can be pretty hit or miss, just depending on I guess your tolerance and patience for this type of gameplay. And I found that every stage in this game without fail elicited one of two reactions from me. It was either a pretty immediate, I understand, where even if I screwed up a couple times, I still kind of got it. Yeah, I know what I'm supposed to do, I'm just I'm not, being accurate enough. And then there would be some stages where I would just sit there for multiple minutes being I don't get it. Luckily, the game does come with, basically an easy mode, which will more or less show you how you're intended to beat the stage. It'll display these arrows that point you in the right direction, but in a game like this where everything is so precise and, the movements that you have to make are so minuscule, a lot of the time that might not help, at all if you're just not, proficient enough with controlling the Monkey Ball. So yeah, there was quite a few stages where I was just dude, I just don't know. But it really is, I think, the kind of thing where, once you get it, you kind of get it forever. It might take you a couple of tries, but beyond that first clear, you're more or less okay, I understand now. And at least for me, the stages kind of ran this gambit of on one hand, I'd be okay, I get it, I know what I'm supposed to do. I just suck and I'm not doing it right, but I know what I'm supposed to do. And those are a lot of fun. Even if I would sit there for quite a while making attempt after attempt after attempt, when I finally did get it, it was a real fuck yeah kind of moment. It felt really good. It was quite exhilarating. But then there would be these stages where even if I cleared them, it wasn't particularly fun. Sometimes it was less of a, alright, let's go, I cleared it moment, and more of a, alright, good, it's over kind of feeling. But I think the stages that I ended up liking the most were honestly the ones that were the most kind of like straightforward, that were just pure tests of your balancing skill and your ability to maneuver throughout the course. Like, I think those really were the ones that gave me the best kind of feeling when I completed them, because they were just fun, you know? Luckily, you do have the option to just straight up skip any stage you don't want to do. It'll allow you to go to the next stage, but it won't mark it as completed. Which, I mean, obviously, I would never ever use. Like, I only used it, like, to fulfill my duty as a reviewer of this game to make sure that it functioned. It's absolutely that, and not the fact that I suck shit at this video game, but... So if you end up just totally stuck on a particular map, you're just like, I don't get it, some arcane demon must have designed this, you can just, you know, put it on the back burner, say, yeah, I'll get around to it eventually, maybe. So yeah, like I said, I definitely enjoyed the gameplay a lot, but it kind of came with this caveat, where I would say for every, like, 2 stages that I sat there and I thought, oh man, that was fun, there was another stage that I was just like, this is not pleasant. And this is just the kind of thing that's gonna depend from person to person, like, a stage that you might think, oh man, that was so much fun, I might think, no, that was awful. Luckily, the game does feature an absolutely gripping story mode. I recently put up a video about Yakuza 0. Actually, the people who made Yakuza also made Super Monkey Ball, which is fascinating, but I gotta say, the story of Banana Mania puts Yakuza 0 to shame. It is a gripping narrative about love, sacrifice, betrayal, generational hatred, how people change over time, human greed. You know, really gripping stuff. This is not one to miss. No, I lie. It's essentially literally nothing. Pretty much just an excuse for gameplay, so yeah, not much there. But there is a decent bit to unlock, and I think without a doubt my favorite thing about the whole game is the inclusion of Sega guest characters. I spent the pretty vast majority of my time playing as Sonic, Tails, Kiryu, and if you get the Digital Deluxe Edition, you get to play as a Sega Dreamcast, the Saturn, and the Game Gear. It's really bizarre just having this, like, Dreamcast that's constantly staring at you, just rolling around in a ball. It's really quite delightful. Like, unironically, I think my favorite thing about the whole game is just seeing Kiryu in a little ball. But beyond getting more characters and bonus modes, I think that's more or less where my enjoyment of the unlockables ends. Most of the rest of it is just, like, clothing, so I wish there was more stuff to unlock that interests me, but there's really not. So once I had bought all the characters and modes I wanted, I pretty much just left the unlockables dormant. But if you're like a completionist, then you'll probably get more out of it than I did. But I pretty much bought Kiryu, and I was like, okay, life complete. There's also a lot of mini games like baseball, bowling, tennis. I played a little bit of them, and they're definitely the kinds of things that are a lot more fun with friends. So I didn't get a whole lot of mileage out of them by myself, but if you got a group of homies, this is probably a lot of fun. So yeah, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. I would say that I overall enjoyed it, but I don't think it did quite enough to make me into a Super Monkey believer. I will say that it was a very unique experience. It's really not something that I've, like, ever played before, but I absolutely see the appeal. Like, I would say if you're somebody who you kind of already know that you like this style of gameplay, then yeah, definitely get it. There's a lot to play through. There's like 300 stages, a lot of stuff to unlock, a ton of missions. I don't think I even mentioned the missions, but there's a shit ton of missions to go through that'll definitely keep you busy. But yeah, if you're looking for something that's like really fast-paced, a really good test of like your precision and skill, then this is absolutely something to check out. Plus it's only 30 bucks, so it's not like you're dropping full price for it. I definitely appreciate the fact that it's kind of like half off from the get-go, because I think I would kind of take issue with it being $60. So I think 30 bucks for it is definitely fair. Plus, come on dog, you get to play as the Kiryu ball. But yeah, that has been the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and big thank you to Sega for providing the game. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time.